Over the past few months, we've made videos about a few different places of historic significance in Los Angeles, at least as far as I'm concerned. And I was interested to revisit those places to see what they looked like today and if anything has changed, if we've lost any of them, or if any changes have been made. The first place I revisited was a video that I did. It was about the Adult Film Walk of Fame, the former Pussycat Theater on Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood, which became the Tomcat Theater, which became, I think, the Pussycat again. It was shut down. Its future was in jeopardy. It's the one that had the famous adult film stars commemorated in cement in front of it, John Holmes and Linda Lovelace. So the first is a tiny clip of our original video, and the second is a recent update in July of 2025. Here's some footage I took of the Pussycat Theater a couple of years ago.
And if you look at these matches, you'll see the Pussycat Theater. The Pussycat Theater were a chain of theaters that showed porn back in the 70s mostly, and they were all over the place. And there were several in Los Angeles. And one of them still stands right here.
So this is the way it looked back when I made my original video. Now this next clip coming up is what it looks like now. Late July 2025.
But here's one you might remember from a while back. This is the former Pussycat Theater, Tomcat Theater, an adult movie theater. And I did a video about the Hall of Fame, the Porn Hall of Fame that's in front of it. And it's still here, just doesn't have a for sale sign on it. It looks like hell. But boy, if there was something I could have, every building I pass, it's like, if I could have that, I would love these. Janie will never like to be too, I don't know. So, but if I could have stuff, it would be these. Famous porn stars, 1977 Georgina, Edward, 1984 Eric Edwards. So it doesn't look like it's long for this world. And there's no seeing inside it either. Wow. Nope.
Although it looks like hell, I'm glad to see that it's still here. On to the next location. The second place I wanted to revisit, it was a video that I did about the Sebring salon, which was called the Good Form Salon on Fairfax. The nice people that owned it at the time, or were at least renting the building in early 2025, allowed me to tour through the place, and were kind enough to let me tour the place with my camera. And it's been sold since then. I didn't know what to expect, so I went to the old salon to check it out to see. And as I mentioned a million times before, it was dressed up to look like Jay Sebring's salon in the film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And now I want to see what it looks like. This is just a refresher. This is what it looked like not that long ago.
So this would have been Jay's staircase.
This is the interior from my last video. In just a second, you'll see what it looks like today, late July 2025, after it was sold.
Of course, there's a zombie right there. So that's the former Sebring salon, painted green now. But it's still here for the time being. This was the old driveway. The old driveway, it was a long time ago. It went all the way to the back for valet parking. But looks like they sold it and it's empty. Tell you, there's not a lot left here. I would love that door. If there's a possibility of getting anything, I would love this door. And this was Jay's old office, private office up ahead, upstairs. And that's where they were filming Once Upon a Time when I was here. And I got to chat with Chino for a bit. And in fact, I was right about, I was standing right about here walking when he called me back to introduce me to Emil Hirsch. So the footage that they used in the movie, which I showed before, but I don't know if I showed that newsstand, which is going to be demolished soon, I'm sure. And they used all those vintage cars were in the parking lot. The Oscar Mayer Wienermobile was over there. And all those vintage magazines. Well, they were recreated. They were paper, though. They were 1969 magazines and newspapers that were created in paper for the movie. No CGI business there. And Jay's Porsche was parked right over here. Well, in the movie. So they haven't used the footage yet. Don't know when they're going to do that. Release whatever version that they're going to release. This VIP client list. All those people that went up those stairs and had their hair styled up in those offices up there. Pretty cool. It's still here. God knows for how long. So this is closed. There's a big lot there, and no doubt something big. Look at that, even that's going. So they're building something big here. So I can't imagine Sebring Salon lasting. Radio Shack sign, that's pretty cool. So this was the spot of Genghis Cohen, which shut down recently too. And that was an good old drinking hole. They've been around for decades. So not only is Genghis Cohen gone, well, 1983, and so is Radio Shack. And this whole thing is probably coming down for a giant parcel for some giant building. Much like those. These are all new. Those things have all, I would say, less than 10 years old. All of those tall ones over there. There's one that's for sale right there. Simple. You know what? I've never even seen that building. It's really kind of cool looking. It looks old. If it was new, they wouldn't have those pipes on the outside. Oh, are you stranded, Alyssa? Oh, I'll leave you. She wants to get by. Can't figure out where she's going over there. This is neat, though. Here she comes. Hey, Alyssa. Let's go past Jay's salon with a robot.
The third place I wanted to revisit was the murder location of Sal Mineo. When I did the video about Sal Mineo's murder, I noticed that there was some construction going on around the garage, his garage, in that alley just off Holloway in West Hollywood. So I took a drive over to see the current state of the Sal Mineo murder location. It might be putting a garage door where Sal's garage was. So we go up towards the dead end, and I'm going to go through here and see. Yeah, the only one that's covered over here. This is the Sal Mineo death garage. I wanted to visit the Hollywood Center Motel, that amazing, crazy 1900s building that was used in a ton of those 70s shows like Mannix, and it was used in a lot of movies, LA Confidential, and several different movies. And that beautiful old wooden building, probably one of the oldest in the area, had a sign on it to say demolition pending. It's certainly what it looked like. So when I went to visit, you're going to have a look at it, and a very unusual look at the side of it. Yeah. So we're going to revisit that and have a look at it.
Updated video on the Hollywood Center Motel. I haven't been here in quite a while, so I was curious to see the state of it. It has been, I believe it's been okayed for demolition. I'm pretty sure that's what it said before, but it's well hidden now behind that cool Never Breeze block. Cool sign still there. So they must have gotten annoyed with all the attention, but some person opened up a little bit so we could see inside. So it's still intact. 7-Up machine is still there. I'm afraid I'm going to drop my phone, so you're not going to see this for very long. But nothing has happened since the last one I did, except it's covered up better.
So, my friend Lisa of Hollywood Unwrapped on Facebook told me about an angle of the motel I'd never seen before. She said, you should go around the side and check it out. And I did. And it was really cool to see this angle of this place that I've never seen. On to the next location, and I'm not going to lie, this one, well, anyway.
A few months ago, I did a video about the famous Pink Palace on Sunset Boulevard, Jane Mansfield's home, where she lived until she died. And Engelbert Humperdinck lived until he sold it and the house was torn down. You may have seen that video. And we were in Jane Mansfield's backyard, and the giant heart-shaped pool was gone, but it was a giant heart-shaped hole in the ground that was filled with this sort of green, murky water. The gates that are still there on Sunset Boulevard have the J and have the M. The JM didn't stand for Jane Mansfield, but it actually stood for Jane and Mickey, as in Mickey Hargitay, her husband, who lovingly put together the Pink Palace for Jane. Check it out. This is so cool. This is like archaeology, and it wasn't even that long ago, but that's the way LA is. I mean, it's like this Indiana Jones adventure. But look, there they are. The JM gates. Jane and Mickey. Still there on Sunset Boulevard. So I knew that these gates were still there on Sunset Boulevard, the JM gates. They were hidden behind hedges. I've seen them for decades. And it was kind of a comfort to know they were there. It's like one of those, I don't know, one of those things that you see in like a hidden Hollywood thing. So, of course, stupid me, I did a video about them because I thought it'd be fun to share with people to see this kind of hidden Hollywood treasure, something that's still there of old Hollywood. And of course, everyone else had to go out there. Every other social media person, it's like they discovered it for the first time. Do you believe it? It's like, no, you didn't. You looked at my video and you saw it, which is cool. It's all fair game. But now the gates are gone.
When my career changed to doing work online with YouTube videos, my friend Jordan the Lion, mentored me. And through him, I learned a lot about making videos and what you should and shouldn't do. I also learned that I don't watch anyone else's videos when I'm doing research. I don't want to be accused of stealing anything. There are people who literally print up findadeath.com write-ups I've done years and years ago and will read them out. Or a Wikipedia page will sit there and read these things out. They put really no care into it, and Jordan taught me to have a little bit more integrity than that. People were saying, oh, I want to take them, which I understand again, but they're gone. So there. I saw Mariska approach the gates in the documentary. They showed her on the inside and walking up to the gates, and it was quite touching. In fact, the footage of Jane in the Pink Palace was amazing to see in that documentary, but the gates are gone. So there you are. I don't know if somebody stole them. I don't think so, because I think they were taken from the inside. It was wonderful to see the Pink Palace in that Mariska Hargitay documentary, to see Jane actually in it, and then Mariska herself walking up to those gates. I kind of hope that she had them. I still kind of hope she had them. I just don't hope it doesn't fall into the hands of, somebody who doesn't deserve them, who doesn't appreciate them. Yeah, it sucks. So it's my fault. It's my fault that I even showed them, but it sucks that everyone else had to go and screw it up. So now no one gets to see them. So, there go the gates. There goes another piece of Hollywood history, and there. While I'm doing little bits about places that have disappeared, and I have these loose ends on my computer, I can't do features on them, but I can throw them into this one. Molly's Burger Joint stood on Vine Street near Hollywood and Vine for over 60 years. It was just a little hamburger joint. It was just part of the landscape, places where construction people could go on their lunch hour, or it was open late so you could go after the bars or whatever. It'd been there for 60 years. And actually, here's a picture of Erin Murphy and I, Tabitha from Bewitched, when we did a little TV bits for my buddy G. Charles Wright, and Tragical History Tour is what it was called. So the Molly showed up in several movies and TV shows. I remember it in Constantine, the Keanu Reeves movie. That was a really good scene. Eve Plum ate there in Dawn, Portrait of a Teenage Runaway. And of course, it slowly sort of dwindled away and eventually was destroyed. And in its place is this high rise. Rest in peace, Molly's. The last one I'm going to show you is pretty dramatic footage anyways, but I was staying in the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel and my room was facing south, and I looked out in the morning, beautiful at nighttime, but I looked out in the morning and I saw this sight, which was pretty dramatic. A building was on fire. I mean, it was seriously on fire. So I drove around a couple of times later that day just to check it out to see exactly what it was. And it looks like it was a clinic. I know it's next to a methadone clinic, and just next to that one was is a motel, the Budget Motel, which will be gone soon. And a band by the name of Spirit posed for a picture at the stairs just on the side of it. Anyway, this building, I drove past it a couple of times afterwards, and the last time I did, the building is gone by the end of the day. But what was there was this writing, literally writing on the wall. Things like that happen a lot around Los Angeles. I miss living in Los Angeles, but I don't miss this sort of thing happening. It's, I'm sure that's a real estate deal or something like that, because there are loads of mysterious fires around Los Angeles in old buildings that happen to be empty. So sorry about this video. I feel like it's sort of a downer, but this is something I don't miss about living in LA. I miss a lot about living in LA, but it makes me less sad to not be there to watch stuff like this. So anyway, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your attention. And until next time.
You heard me.